Alrighty, we might just get started. So welcome to Lunch and Learn this afternoon. This is our third episode for Lunch and Learn, and today we are talking about building a sales funnel. So very strategic to some extent. For those of you that have been on the Lunch and Learn segments before this, it is designed to add value to my community, the Business Talk Show community, in how you can set up your marketing and your sales systems, moving forward. So that is my area of expertise, and I'm supporting the community through these Lunch and Learn segments that have been running now. As I said, this is the third one, and we will be running this through right up until Easter, where it would be a different segment at the end of this month. It will change a little bit due to me going to New Zealand in April, but there will be still some free training that will be run for the community. Okay, that being said, I'm about to share my screen with those of you that are on the call live, and also for the purpose of actually recording it. So that being said, let's just get started. Let me see. Share screen, and we are ready. Hopefully you can see the screen, and if you can't, just let me know through the chat. So each and every one of you on the call should be able to have a chat option where you can actually message me live on the call, even if you don't have audio. So all good. All right, as I said, welcome to Lunch and Learn. My name is Samantha Jansen, and I'm going to take you through a process over the next 45 minutes to an hour where we are going to specifically talk about building a sales funnel. Okay. So the agenda for today, this week's topic's all about building a sales funnel. We are looking at how to package your expertise. So I'm assuming everyone that has registered for the call has a service-based business. Even if you don't have a service-based business, it is absolutely crucial that you package up your expertise. So we're going to cover that. We're going to look at how to build a killer sales funnel, because the truth is, without sales, you don't have a business, okay? And without an awesome sales process in place, you are going to struggle to make those sales consistently week in and week out. And the business is not going to survive. So I'm all about giving you the sales technique that works time and time again for me personally, and for all of my clients that work with me on a one-on-one or through a group coaching call or whatever it is that they do with me. Okay, so I'm going to give you that today as well, so you understand how to have an effective sales technique, but also actually understand the basics in terms of the back end of your sales funnel, because that's crucial. And then also we are talking about high-end sales. So no matter what your service is, no matter what your product is, look, and this is where I think product versus services can differentiate a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. But if you are a service-based business, it is absolutely crucial, without a doubt, that you have a high-ticket item, because the profit and the value factor in that high-ticket item is absolutely crucial. There is no if, there is no buts. It is a must-have package. You must have a high-end package. And oftentimes I've had people have conversations with me where they said, Samantha, but my high-end is $500. Unfortunately, $500 is not a high-end product, and I'm going to talk about that on the call today. When I talk high-end, I'm talking about having something over $2,000 at a bare minimum. Okay, at a bare minimum, a high-end ticket item would have to be over $2,000. No questions about that. Okay, so we'll get straight into it. So those are the three things that I'm going to talk about in this call. As I said, I'll probably run for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm going to take some questions at the end as well, followed by some questions, because I want to answer any of those burning questions that you might be experiencing. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so how to package your expertise. You are an expert in what it is that you do. You have spent countless hours, time, money to set up a business, to market your business, to get out there and build awareness to what it is. But how do you package your expertise? To be honest with you, it really depends on the service, okay? It would be very easy for me to say, oh, everybody can package it up the same way. The formula is somewhat similar, but it's really dependent on your business model. So when you started your business, you obviously had some sort of pricing structure that you put in place for your services or your products, and you followed that through. But what I'm saying to you here on this call is when you start to package up your services or your product, your expertise, if you are a consulting-based business, then it could be very much time for money kind of thing. If you're in the coaching space, you could be, again, in the same situation where it's, coaching sessions in exchange for a monetary payment / you might also have workshops. If you are just running workshops and events, then it's a little bit different. So the easiest and the most simplest way to understand this is if you are a service-based business, it is absolutely crucial for you to package everything that you do. Nothing should be sold as a standalone. So for example, if you were selling, let's say, stationery, it's absolutely important to not just say, okay, just buy this pen. No, actually, you can buy the pen, but actually we don't sell the pen as a standalone. What we do is you get the pen, but then you get this, and this included. The reason that system works is, one, the person buying the pen gains so much more through the conversion, but also you are able to add value from that, okay, by you positioning yourself as not just going, here, I gave you a pen, I sold you a pen. It's so much more than that in the psychology of sales, okay? So packaging your expertise. If you are a service-based business, it is crucial for you to look at the perceived value. And this is where a lot of consulting-based businesses, so coaches, consultants, practitioners, health and well-being experts, kind of miss this step. And if you miss this, you tend to sort of undervalue your offerings. And that results in low profit margins, which result your bottom line, which impacts your cash flow, which impacts your profits. And overall, the business is actually not growing. There is no high profitability because you have missed that step. So what is perceived value? Perceived value is what the client feels they have got in exchange for what they have paid. It is absolutely crucial. I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to actually break down what it is that you offer. So for example, if you were to package up one of your services, that might be, let's say, a consulting service. It is never a consulting service where you say, yes, I get on the phone and I talk to you for an hour. It's never that. It is so much more. There is prepping involved. There is templates involved. There is an email after the session involved. If you are a business that actually goes on site and does some work, there is the driving time. There is the on-site technical work that you will do, the after work. There is a follow-up process. There's so much that you do. It's never, let's just get on the phone and have a conversation. Because, for example, for those of you that are on the live call, or for those of you that are going to watch this later on today, it is great to say Samantha's running Lunch and Learn and be present here, but Samantha had to prep. She had to take 20 minutes or so that it took to just put this slideshow, the presentation together. There was the prep time that I had to put together in terms of setting up the link for each of you to register. So there was prep time. It was never about Samantha just showed up here at 5 to 12 and got on the call and presented, and then at the end she just goes, stop the recording, sign off, and I'm off on to the next thing. It doesn't work that way. No matter what you're selling, no matter the product, no matter the service, there is prep time, there is setup time, there is pack time, there is where you have to wrap up. There's a lot of time factor, and a lot of businesses forget that. So when they do their pricing, when they do their sales, they forget this, and that impacts that bottom line, that profit margin. So You need to understand what the perceived value is for your client. Okay, if they're buying a session with you, what are they really buying and what are they really getting for the dollar exchange? So you need to be very clear on that. It's crystal clear. There is no ifs, there's no I'm not sure, I don't know. If you're not sure and you want to have a conversation outside of this, let's do that outside of this call. But it's really crucial for you to understand what the perceived value is that your client is going to gain by transacting with you. Number 2, education and knowledge, meaning when you package up your product and service, is it a little gift tag that you attach to the product that says what it does, how you need to look after it, what you need to do. If it is a program that you're selling online, then you need to talk about the key fundamentals that they are going to achieve, they're going to learn and implement. So knowledge and education, depending on whether it's a product or a business, you want to give them insights, which is, it could be some things that they need to do. For example, I remember this is sometime last year, I was working with a plant nursery. So they sold little cactus plants up in Monbulk, and I actually worked with them for probably almost just over 6 months. They were one of my high-end VIP clients where I actually went onto the nursery on site every 6 weeks, and I didn't look glamorous. I had my runners on or my big Ugg boots on when I went in because it was a very muddy, messy environment, but it was one of the things that I did with my on-site clients. And one of the things we looked at is, because they were saying the little cactus plants, and some of it started at $20, but there were what do they call it, one-off where they have sort of mixed and matched different plant seeds, or however you explain it. I didn't quite understand how they did that setup in terms of growing the plant, but they would have something that would be $500-600 for this little plant in this beautiful little pot. And the way we looked at it in terms of packaging, because it was not really sold in Melbourne itself, it actually went across to Perth and to Sydney and to Adelaide. We looked at, when we packaged it up together with the other plants, what sort of knowledge in terms of caring for the plant did we need to mention on there. So no matter the product, no matter the service, there needs to be knowledge or education attached to the package, okay? Now, depending on, again, the service and the nature of your business, you might offer 24/7 support, okay, where they can call you, they can email you, they might be in a closed Facebook group, whatever that might be. 24/7 support might be an option. Again, it is very dependent on the product or the service. There will be resources. For those of you in the coaching and training space, resources. There could be a book, there could be some templates. Resources and knowledge and education can cross over a little bit, just so you're aware. But it is somewhat different, because resources are very much around giving them some things to do, actually taking action. And this is really important when I talk to a lot of coaches and consultants, me being one myself. One of the things early on in the business I had to learn really well was to differentiate what sort of knowledge I gave and then what sort of resources I gave, because the knowledge part happened in the actual session, a bit like me sharing my knowledge with you today. But the resources would mean giving the attendees a template or some sort of other, outside of that space, outside of that scope, you would have some sort of resources to go back to. Okay, so again, as I said, it is important to know the model and to also look at how you're packaging it up together. And then lastly, remember, if you are in the coaching and consulting space, there could be an accountability segment that you could offer, because depending on who your target audience is and who you're talking to, accountability can be a game changer for the person buying your program or service. Just over the last probably 2 or 3 days, I've been talking to a business in Sydney, and I'm actually off to Sydney in 3 weeks. So I go to New Zealand in a week and a bit, then I come back, and a day later I'm off to Sydney for the day to be with one of my clients on site. And they are a plumbing business in Sydney with a team of, I think, nine people, so 9 people plus the business owner. I'm off to Sydney to spend a whole day with them because they are one of my really high-end VIP clients. So spending a whole day with them to do a lot of their strategic planning. And the key game changer for the business owner that decided to work with me was when I presented my package, it was not the price point. It was the fact that I had an accountability segment that I said to him on the package, on the quote, that every 2 weeks I'm going to hold him accountable. I'm going to track what he is doing. I'm going to support him, but I'm going to hold him to his word. And he went, you know what, Samantha, I have slacked off for years and I have hit a plateau. And now that I'm going to be working with you, I can just see that you are just going to kick me to make sure I'm getting stuff done. And I went, yes, because to some businesses, to some individuals that you might be mentoring, you might be coaching, you might be even working with a big organization where your business goes on site and delivers a product. And, you know, they take time to pay the invoice, they slack off, they don't give you the order sheets on time, whatever that is. That's still accountability. That means that you need to hold them accountable and you need to follow that through so they understand that you mean business, but you also are there to hold them to their word, to make sure that they honor that. Because a lot of people sometimes think, you know, this is a little bit off topic, but a lot of people think, oh, I just only do that there. Like, I don't do that in any other part of my life. But the truth is, I've done a lot of personal development over the last probably 6 years or so. And how you do life is how you do business, and how you do business is how you do life. Meaning, if you're messy and you don't have procedures in place in one aspect, that aspect is going to show up in multiple other aspects of your life. I'm not saying that you would be as messy, but what I'm saying is a little part of that is probably going to show up in other aspects of your business or your life. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is when you package up your services, look at it as a value add of how you are going to present what it is that you do. So again, if you are a service-based business or a consulting-based business, it is crucial for you to package up the consultancy session, some resources, some support, and some accountability. So as you can see, I don't know whether you can actually see my hands, but it's almost like you've got 3-4 layers in the one little box. So you're packaging up one service that has 3 key factors, 3 key layers attached to that package. And that's where the client goes, wow, okay, it's so much more than a session, because I'm getting these resources. I have 24/7 access and support. I have this knowledge. I'm held accountable. I can't slack off. There's all these other factors that are the game changer. Okay, so getting your package right. So if you are just starting up or you have been in business a few years, I urge you, highly, highly recommend that you take about an hour or two to sit down at your desk, either whether that's today or over the next few days, to sit down and look at the packages that you're offering. Okay, so you have package A, package B, package C, for example. Okay, and you package it up and make sure that you have a bare minimum of 2 additional. So if you're selling, let's say, a plant, you have 2 extra components. If you're selling a coaching session, you have 2 extra components. So every package will have 3 factors in it. Okay, so that's absolutely crucial. Moving from there, let's talk about, once you package up your expertise or your services or your product, how to build a killer sales funnel. Okay, and this is the strategy that has worked for me and for my clients ongoing. And this is the same strategy, essentially, that I talk about when I work with clients on site as well. It's the same system. It's just structured differently and crafted a little bit differently, depending on the business, depending on the business model. But in terms of the actual flow, is absolutely the same. Okay, so how to build a killer sales funnel. So for most of you, I'm assuming that you have got your marketing campaign sorted. Okay, we spoke about marketing campaigns on Lunch and Learn over the last, I think, 2 episodes. The last week was Facebook, and the week before that was, I think, actually about building a marketing campaign. I can't even remember now. But yes, so I'm assuming you're going to have your marketing campaign sorted. From your marketing campaign, you will generate leads. There's a lead generation process. So whether that's Facebook ads, whether that's Google, whether that's through retargeting or referrals coming from brochures, the local newspaper, organically on Google, you might be running TV commercials, radio, whatever that might be. You get a marketing campaign. From there, you generate leads. Now, this is where the sales process starts to kick in, meaning from when the lead comes through and it falls into your sales funnel. Okay, into your sales funnel. So it is absolutely crucial that you have your sales funnel structured. Now, when I mean structured, I mean looking at from the moment you receive a lead, what is it you do? For example, with the company that I'm currently working with in terms of a financial services company down on the Bayside in Melbourne, their sales structure goes something like this, okay? So they generate the lead and it comes in either through a landing page or through their contact form on their website. When that comes, the system is notified and the receptionist at that financial practice, she gets a notification. She gets, and it might say the person's name, email address, phone number, and I do believe it talks about what is it that you're looking to understand in terms of your financial situation. She then takes that and that is then designated to the person that specializes in that area, because as you can imagine, being a financial services practice, they have got, I think, about 4 or 5 practitioners or advisors in there. So it really depends on the topic of what that person needs to know. It gets delegated to that person, unless the person when they opted in said, I want to talk to, let's say, Harry. Then it would go straight to Harry. But if they've not mentioned, it's very much dependent on the topic. From there, okay, it's allocated to somebody. From there, the receptionist calls back and says, hey, Samantha, I noticed you were interested in having a conversation with an advisor to explore a wealth building strategy, maybe through property, whatever that might be, let's say. And then they'd say, when's a good time? And I would say, okay, Friday, 2 o'clock. Beautiful. At Friday, 2 o'clock, it's locked in. Harry's going to call you to discuss that. In the lead up to the call, we're just going to send you out a brief questionnaire to better understand your personal needs. Fabulous. Call done. Now, that was done by the receptionist. The next day, Harry gets on the phone. He has already a questionnaire that has been completed by the client, so he knows where they're at. They're pre-qualified, okay? It is no longer a cold lead. It is somewhat of a warm lead, and it's up to Harry now to see whether he can actually support. The word here is support that individual in achieving the outcome that they want. Now, for those of you on the call, it is really crucial for you to understand that it's not about the sale. It is about how can I add value to the person on the call, or to the person in front of me, or to the group that I'm talking to. Absolutely crucial. Okay, no ifs and buts about it. It is absolutely crucial that you are coming from a place of adding value and serving. So into the next screen, cube on there on the flow chart, where we talk about value added component into 3. The reason I said 3 is because you want to add value at a bare minimum 3 times, okay, before you actually pitch a sale. Okay, so for example, with the financial plan, they might get on the phone. They've had one point of contact. The second point of contact to nurture them is they to understand this individual's lifestyle, what they want to achieve. That's point number 3. Point number 2. The third one would be is where they would discuss with them whether they can send them an appraisal on what needs to be done. So for those of you that run workshops, it might be very much add some value, have a conversation with them, then tell them to come to the workshop. And at the workshop, you pitch something, okay, or at the one-day event, you pitch something. So they've had 3 points of contact with you for you to really build their trust, okay, understand their needs, and show them that you are capable of supporting them. It is absolutely crucial that they understand and trust that you can do their job. Okay, so the conversation happens, okay, and then we move down into the conversation / automated pitch. Depending on your business setup, this might be an automated process. It might be a humanized process, meaning you actually do it yourself. instead of a system doing it. But either way, there's a conversation or an automated pitch that happens. Okay, so the pitch happens, and from there you take them on to a low to mid-range sale, meaning you are pitching something depending on their status, depending on their needs, something less than possibly $1,000. Okay, so for example, with the financial practice, that business, their services start at I think 850, and then it can run well into 5, 6, 7,000. Okay, it has the potential with what they do, but they start off with that lower end, and they have got 2 of those packages in the lower end. I strongly encourage businesses, especially in the coaching and consultancy space, to have sort of 3 to 5 low ticket items. The reason I say that is because when you have a conversation with someone, it is easy to actually steer them into a particular program that you might have. It's easy because you only have program A or you have program B. That's all you've got. So you can either steer them this way or this way. You cannot really steer them any other way because you don't have anything else. And this is where then that value factor drops off, because you have tried to steer them and sell them into a program that is really not a lot of value to them. They can't see the perceived value. I mean, you understand it from what it is that you deliver, that they are going to gain a lot of value. Great. They don't see that. If they don't see that, why would they buy? You would never go into a store and buy something that was a complete ripoff, would you? So you've got to put yourself in their shoes. If they don't see perceived value and benefits, they're not interested, no matter how good of a person you are in terms of serving them at the highest level. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because there is no perceived value. They can't see the benefits, so they're not looking to convert. Okay, this is why I say you need to be listening and asking questions in the sales conversation, so you can understand their frustrations and their needs before you even pitch anything. It's like this morning I was at an event where I was speaking in Warren, and we were talking about different content and marketing and pitching and all of that, and it was very much around Facebook. And I said, if somebody went into a restaurant and the restaurant said, yep, you're having a chicken parma for lunch, I'd be like, no, I want to see the menu. I want to know what options are out there. I want to know the possibilities of whether I could have meat or I could have seafood. And if you are just pitching one service to an audience that you don't know, it's like doing the same thing, going into a restaurant and everybody in the restaurant eating one thing, when really the restaurant chefs could cook probably 3-4 different meals, exquisite meals. But you're deprived of that because the person taking the order tells you, no, you're just having a chicken parma. You don't do that. So why would you do that in business? The same principle applies in business. And this is where I think a lot of people go, oh, I'm not making the sales, things are not working out. They're not working out is because you think everybody needs to fit in one box, when everybody cannot fit in one box. Everybody in business has different needs and wants. If you are going from B to B, so business to business, different needs, business to clients, business to consumers, they have different needs. They have different wants. If you're trying to put them in a box, of course they're going to shut down. Of course they're not going to buy. So it is absolutely crucial, without a doubt, that you need to have 3 to 5 mid-range packages so you can assess where they're at and then filter them through. And look, to be honest, over time they're probably going to need all 5 services. I'm not saying they won't. They probably will. Depending on what your business offers and what it is that you sell, they're probably going to need that. But the starting point of the relationship where somebody is paying you for what it is that you do, you need to give them options in terms of how you would support them through different programs so they make an informed choice. For those of you that run workshops, if you are talking about a workshop, if in the workshop you're talking about a specific topic, then the upsell would be related to that. However, you still need to take into account the audience, okay? Because if the upsell is not aligned and in flow with what it is that you're currently talking about and trying to sell, then there's a disconnect and there's going to be no conversion. So it's really, really crucial that you are consciously aware of the audience, whether that's online or offline, and you have different options available for people to work with you. Look, when I first started, I probably had about 8 different options for people to work with me, and these days it's just 4, plain and simple. Just 4 ways you can work with me, and if it doesn't fit, that's okay. I have other people that I can send them off to. So what I'm saying is I'm very clear on the 4, and the 4 different options that are available actually serve a big group of people, meaning there could be a startup or a small business. And when I say small business, a business established with less than 10 employees. So I'm still serving a big group, but I'm very clear that they fit into 4 categories, and those 4 categories offer this, this, and this. So very clear. So your low to mid-range sales need to have 3 to 5 components, so ideally 3 to 5 packages. And then that is how you add value, how you build credibility and trust. And it's almost like a circle where if you're looking on the slide, you can see you add value, then you have the conversation, then you pitch. Then you add value, you have the conversation, you pitch. And essentially, depending on what your business is, you might have a lifetime of a client of 2 years, maybe a little bit more. My lifetime client is up to about 2.5 years for them to go through the full cycle from when they start to when they start to grow, to when they start to scale their business. So it is about a 2.5 year cycle. So it is really, really important for you to be aware of that, okay? So from there, we move into, once you have added value, you have really nurtured them and they can see the benefits of what you do, you then move into a high-end sale, okay? Meaning you have now something that is offered at a premium price point that is well over $2,000, nothing less. Why do I say nothing less? Because you know what? Your service is worth more. You're an expert in your field. You have dedicated countless hours, hundreds and thousands of hours to refine how you're going to help people, how you're going to support them, how you're going to nurture them, how you're going to give them resources, how you're going to hold them accountable, how you're going to support them 24/7. There is so much that you do. And I know that from a sales perspective. I know that from a business perspective. But it is so easy to get caught up in going, I just want to help them. I just want to help them. And fantastic, you want to help people, but how are you helping yourself? Because if you are not going to run the business at profitable, over time where it becomes profitable, you're going to end up walking away. The passion, your purpose is all going to be questioned because you're unhappy. There is no money in the bank account. You are not running a profitable business. So what I'm saying to you, and look, this has ruffled feathers. Whenever I say this at a workshop or when I'm guest speaking, it always causes a little bit of traction, a little bit of, really, Samantha, are you saying that? The truth is, you are in business. You have to make money to survive. You might have a beautiful heart and soul that wants to help people, but you are not going to be profitable if there is no cash coming into your bank account. So you start the business, of course, to serve. And as the more you serve, the more traction you gain. The more traction you gain, the more credibility you gain. The more credibility you become trustworthy. The more trust, people convert, people pay you. And once that is established and that cycle is complete, it's time to then add further value. And that further value comes at a price point. This is where a lot of the amount of coaches and consultants that struggle here. The money is not made in the $79 product. The money is not made in the $149 product. You're breaking even. Depending on the volume, depending on the numbers, you're breaking even. In terms of building an effective business with a killer sales system, where the funnel is complete, you need to have a ticket item that is over at a bare minimum $2,000. Bare minimum. There is no, oh Samantha, okay, selling $500 products, I'm going to be filthy rich and I'm going to make a massive difference. If you don't fill your cup up first, you can't fill anybody else's cup. That is the bottom line. So it is absolutely crucial that you have a package that not just starts from, you know, $500, but you have something that is well and truly above that next stage. Okay, absolutely, absolutely crucial that you have that. Because once you have that, you have a system in place to go from, I've got 3 to 5 packages on the lower end. So anywhere between, let's say, you might start off at, I don't know, $200 all the way up until about $800 where you have multiple packages. Once they have gained so much value from that, it is a no-brainer to say to them, I can support you on another level through a personalized session, through a whole other segment by having a high ticket item. And it was interesting because a few days ago I was having a conversation with a gentleman that was talking about business models. And he said to me, but Samantha, you know, how sustainable is the business model that you do, given that, you know, you do offer on-site consulting? And I said, yes, I do. I said, I've actually pulled back on quite a few different other things that I was doing that was not really serving me well, but also I was conscious about the energetically how much I was putting in place to keep those wheels turning when really they were not working. So I said, yes, I do work on site with businesses where I actually go into the company and I spend a whole day with them, and with some organizations I'm there for about 3 hours. But I'm aware that in a month, I only need 8 to 9 of those clients a month is all I need. At any given time of the year, well, when I say any given time, probably not December. December and January, I pull back quite a bit. But from February to November, I'm on site in client sites, probably whether it's let's say a month that has a lot of public holidays or a bit of downtime, I still have 5 or 6 on-site clients that I'm seeing. And then in the mix, there are speaking events, there are networking events, there are client sessions, and all the other things that I do. So I essentially work in the business, okay, so in the business to get things happening, you know, moving and happening and sales and all that happening. That is probably about 12 days of the month. Okay, 12 days. The other days, I work on the business. So meaning I do things to help the business grow from the back end of the business. So what I'm saying to you is it is absolutely crucial that you have lower end packages, you have those conversations to pitch, and from there you move on and you have your high end, and your high end could be 1 or 2. I personally have 2 high end. One is the on-site consulting and the other is the 3-day program where people write a book with me. So those are my 2 high end. And that's it. That model works for me. I will probably review it in another about 2 years and tweak it again. But every 12 to 18 months, I review the business model, the processes, what needs to be tweaked, what can be redone. And I work my way strategically like that to make sure I'm staying in line with the model, but also being checking in with myself to make sure that I'm happy with how I am building rapport, how I am serving, and also looking at the numbers that are coming in. Okay, so it's absolutely crucial for you to be aware of that. That being said, we're moving on to the next one, and that is your high-end sales process. Okay, your high-end sales works very much based on relationships. Okay, I would love to tell you that there's a secret potion, but there is no secret potion. It is very much dependent on relationship. And the 4 key elements is you need to be listening and understanding to their wants, not their needs, because people buy what they want. Always, always. You give them what they need, but you sell them what they want. Okay, so the only way you would know their wants is if you are listening and paying attention and understanding their frustrations, their fears, what is stopping them. The second one is eliminating any fear they have about the product or the service. Okay, so for example, when I started working with this plumbing business in Sydney, this company that I'm off to Sydney in a few weeks, one of their biggest fear was, oh my God, Samantha, I'm not so sure I want to be on Facebook. Like, I know everybody's talking about it, but I'm really scared. I'm just not sure. What do I do? What do I do? How does this work? I'm freaking out. We had 3 conversations, okay, just to address the fear factor. It was crippling fear that this business owner had around, what am I going to do? Like, I kind of want to try Facebook, but I'm really scared. I'm freaking out. Is it going to work? I don't know. So it didn't make sense for me to pitch anything that I could do with them on my high-end program, set up on-site client, when I had to first deal with their fear. So when you are selling a high-ticket item, it is absolutely crucial that you are listening, you are understanding, you are paying attention to their fear around the product or the service. You want to address that and eliminate that. Okay, you want to establish how much, and the next point, you need to establish how much value your product or service is going to offer them. They are going to have support, and that's where accountability, resources, knowledge, and this is where your packaging plays a crucial part in this process. Okay, before you pitch, and this is where so many people get it wrong. They pitch a program or a service before they even know whether that person, needs that. It's like telling, we had this joke, I think this is probably going back about 3 weeks ago. I can't remember where it was. I think it was some sort of networking event. And we were talking about, pitching. And we said, imagine a vegetarian was in the audience and somebody said, I have the best way for you to build your health and well-being, and that is to eat chicken. That person is a vegetarian. They are not going to buy no matter what you say. They don't eat chicken, let alone anything other than vegetables. So it is a disservice and a dishonor for you to pitch something that is irrelevant to them because you don't know, you have not listened, you have not asked questions. Absolutely crucial, no doubt in my mind. You need to ask questions, you need to listen, and you need to understand. You need to address their fears before you pitch. And lastly, and most importantly, in a high-end, so high-ticket item where you are going through a sales process, it is really important for them to trust you and for you to be somebody that is demonstrating credibility, okay? Your credibility and your trust is absolutely crucial. A high-ticket item does not happen organically unless they trust you, they have a rapport with you, they have no fears around what it is that you can do for them, and really, really assure them of how you are going to deliver this program or this workshop or this event or the conference or whatever it is, or the product that you're selling. Assure them, give them clarity, give them assurance, because again, that is all adding to them trusting you. In terms of a sales conversation, I think I'm going to run that as a different segment, having a sales conversation, or maybe I could actually send you one of the trainings that I've done, which might be available. Because with high-end sales, it is dependent quite a bit on the conversation, meaning the language that you use, and the languaging stems from you listening and understanding to their wants. You will always tell them what they want, okay, but you're also addressing their fears. When I get on a conversation to have with a potential person that I could be working with, I actually have a full A4 page in front of me, and I'm listing all their issues, all their fears, and I'm addressing all of that before I even mention any of my packages or how I can work with them. And if there are some things that I actually can't help them with, I actually tell them up front. So I don't have a fear of saying, unfortunately, that's not my area of expertise. I just don't know much about it. So I can't really help you. So that being said, that pretty much wraps up our session well and truly on time. almost 45 minutes into the session. So now I am open to taking any questions that you might be having from this Lunch and Learn segment. Do you have any questions that I can address? Any specific questions that I can support you with? I really want to do that. Tell me, did you have anything? Hi, Wendy. Hey, Davika. If you've got any specific questions, I'd love to answer them. Alternatively, you're more than welcome. Most of you, well, 2 of you on the live call are actually a part of business chats with Samantha, so you're more than welcome to ask any questions there. But as I said, I'd love to take any questions that you might have around high-end sales or even just the sales process that you want to discuss. So let's see, you can put your questions in the chat box, which should appear on the right-hand side of your screen. Alternatively, you can unmute yourself just click on the unmute settings on the Zoom call and connect with me there. But as I said, really, really awesome to have some of you on the live call. There were quite a few of you that registered, and I know you wanted the actual training outside of the live training, so that's okay. I will send you that. That being said, did you have any questions for me, Wendy?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I was trying to find where to write the questions because I haven't been on this link before. It doesn't show my face or anything, does it?
Oh no, I can see a little bit of the background of you, but yeah, only the background. I can't actually see.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't have any questions. Just that you're absolutely amazing, and I love you and appreciate you.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you for that. But yeah, I will put the recording up on the in the group. So if you know anybody that can benefit from it, you're more than welcome to share the recording anyway. And Davika, did you have any questions for me? Just so I can address that as well before we wrap up. No, okay, beautiful. So Davika has no questions. And for those of you that might be watching this as a recording, remember I'm here to support you. So reach out through email or through Facebook. Send me a direct message, comment in the Business Talk Show community. Either way, I'd love to support you. Have a fabulous Thursday afternoon, and Lunch and Learn is back again next week, same time, same place, 12 noon, and we will go through another new topic. Well, next week's topic is actually about writing a book, so becoming a published author. That being said, thank you so much for being on Lunch and Learn. I look forward to seeing you again soon. And
thank you.
That's all right. Bye, guys.
Bye.